this video, I'll show you how to create projects in Kids Spring DIY box. There's 5 different projects, and I'll guide you through with step-by-step instructions on how to create these projects. So first, set up your paint station. What you will also need is a mason jar with some water, a drill or just a screwdriver with Phillips head, and maybe some paper towel, just a regular paper or paper towel or shop paper towel. Okay, so first we're gonna paint the wood projects that we're gonna be also stenciling. So that will be for that, and this will be for the banner. Okay, so I'm gonna paint my banner nice and green. You paint it any color you like, and I'll start with that. I'll use my bigger brush, and all I'm gonna do is just paint a nice light coat. If the first coat doesn't fully cover it, you can come back after it dries and paint on second coat. I'll let those projects dry, and now I'm gonna work on my photo clipboard. The clip is right here, so you get to paint it in the color of your choice. I'm gonna paint it dark gray, and I'll just use one of my clean brushes and just do a nice light coat again of paint. And you just need to paint the front and the sides. You don't have to paint the back. If you do end up having some drips on the side, you can just, after you're done painting the top, just come back and pick up your drips, and then I can let this one to dry. Okay, so next is our mason jar. So I'll put this on the side so I don't get paint on my project. And okay, so I'm gonna first paint the mason jar all in one color, and then I'm gonna come with I can use different colors and create my own design on a mason jar, and then that could be something that I store all my brushes, pencils, makeup brushes. So I'll paint now with this one. Find it easier if you put your hand in the mason jar and then just paint around it. So let's see, which color do I want to use? I might do it in this light color, light turquoise. I like this one. So I'll put my hand in, and I'll paint sideways along the rim here, and then I'll just push the paint down. When you paint mason jar, it's important that you don't overbrush it. So once you finish painting your first coat, then let this one dry for good 30 minutes at least. And depending how thick coat you put on, you might have to wait longer. And once you finish painting, let it dry. And before you come and do second coat, make sure it's dry. And then if it starts pulling paint, once you put on a brush, then you know you need to dry a little bit longer. You don't have to paint the bottom. If you don't paint the bottom, you can rest it down and dry like this. If you do paint the bottom, then I will show you how to dry this. Then all you'll do is be a little careful here. You might have to touch up. I'll use my hands, and then I'll quickly touch up the paint there. So I'll let that dry now. I'll wait to work on the zipper case. I'll want to make sure my area is nice and clean so I don't get any paint on my zipper case. Now that my signs are dry, I'll come, and if it needs, I'll put on second coat. If you created a lot of texture on your sign, you can actually come and use this sandpaper and just sand it a bit to create nice smooth finish, and then put on second coat. Okay, so I've painted 2 coats for all the projects. You can sort of see if it's solid coverage. This one actually had only 1 coat. So if it has solid coverage, you don't have to do 2 coats for everything. Okay, so now that they are nice and dry, and then what I can do is I can use my sandpaper and sand the boards nice and smooth, or even distress the edges by sanding it a little bit more on the corners. Don't have to do that, but you can. Oh, looks like got some paint. So I've just come back and covered that one up. Okay, so I can even sand this one if I want to get nice smooth coverage, smooth surface. So now I'm gonna be putting these 2 stencils. So what I'll do is I will flip my stencils with the back facing up. It's easier to peel off the white paper from the back, and just in case some of the small little bits lift up, I'm able to push them down. So make sure none of the black stays on your stencil, and then I'm gonna lift it up, around and put it with a sticky side, put it on the board and just center it down. So I think there might be a little gap on each side, and then I'll just rub it down with my hands to make sure it's nice and smooth on it. Okay, so now with my Grogu, I'm gonna again put that stencil with the back facing up. Make sure none of the black little bits come off. And now with the sticky side, I'll put it down where I like on my wooden banner. So put it maybe there where I'm happy, and then I'm just rubbing over with my hands to make sure that it's nicely stuck to the table. So now we're going to be removing the white paper from the top that keeps the stencil together, and I'm just going to roll it off sideways, making sure none of the black lifts up. You don't want to lift up like this, it might start removing some of the stencils. Just carefully peel it up sideways and remove all the white. And if you have any left, you can also cover up some of your board to make sure you don't get paint where you don't want to it when we're done painting. Okay, next step is very, very important. So our next step we'll paint our design the same color as our background. What it does, it seals the edges, so when you paint in a color of your choice, the paint will not bleed underneath. So this, my banner is green, so I'm gonna take my green brush and green paint, and I'm just gonna cover up the design with a light coat. I will make sure I go with the brush up and down, all the way, including the little ends of design, and then I'm gonna go right and left. So right and left, make sure all the way till the end of design. And I'll let this one dry now, and I'll repeat the same step with my little brave sign. I'll put on some paint, and I'll make sure I go all 4 directions. Okay, so now that my designs are dry, I will be able to move on to next step. To check if it's dry, you can touch it with your finger. If it doesn't leave paint on it, then you're ready to move on to next step. Okay, so now I can pick the colors I want to do. It's important that you make sure that there's enough contrast So this design, dark gray, I probably don't want to use my dark black color, because what will happen is it's going to be very hard to see my design. So I'll make sure there's enough contrast. So, and then the same thing for this. So what I'll do is, I think I'll just decide what I want to do and go for it. So maybe use paint this one in the dark gray, or I can even do something fun. Maybe I'll do, let's do this one super fun. I'll do different colors for each letter. So I'll do black, and then I'll maybe do the orange, and I'll just alternate the colors that I have and make it super fun. I'll let this dry, and then I'll do a second coat to make sure that it covered really nicely. Make sure all the corners of the ears and everywhere it's fully covered. So you can just look around and see, make sure the design is fully covered. All right, I'll also wash out my brushes. If you need to switch out between the colors, just rinse them out and then use your paper towel to dry them nice and dry before you switch the color to different color. Okay, so I also check my design. That feels nice and dry, so I am ready for the reveal. So all I'm doing is just peeling off the stencil, and I'm only left with a beautiful design. And then whatever doesn't come off with when I peel off the stencil, I'll using the toothpick, the little toothpick, to take it out. If you got some paint where you didn't want to paint, if you have a little bit of bleeding, you can just use that little toothpick and cover up that area with some paint. Next, I'm gonna grab my string and tie a couple knots here, so this little banner is ready for hanging. If you have too much string left, you can just cut off the ends with scissors. Okay, so that's two projects are finished. So let's work on the next one. Okay, so let's attach the clip on to our photo clipboard. So there's pre-drilled hole, so all you need to do is put the screw through the bottom part. Put the screw through the bottom part, and then I'm just gonna put that in a hole and hold it down with my fingers and use my drill and press it down and make sure the clip stays down. Okay. This is finished as well. So now I can decorate my mason jar. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do some little dots. So I can use the tip of the brush, or you can actually also use the little wood toothpick if you want to do like a smaller dots. That actually works really nice. So I'll just do different color polka dots, and that will look super cute. You can draw some hearts, do lines, do something super fun, even write your name on it. All right, I'm very happy how it looks. So you can leave it like that, or you can put on the metal lid. Just don't want to touch the dots. I can also put this one on and decorate it this way. So we have this project done as well. So what I'll do is I'll clean up this area, make sure it's all nice and clean before I start working on the white zipper case, because we don't want any paint get on that project. So I'll wash, actually my brushes are all clean, but I'll reset this area so it's all nice and clean. I'll also go wash my hands so I don't touch the fabric with my dirty hands. Okay, taking the zipper case and the stencil for it, and I will need my brushes and my paints. And so we'll start with removing the stencil, so removing the back piece from the stencil. So again, peel it, flip it with the back facing up, peel off the white paper from the backing and flip it over and place it where you like it on the zipper case. All right, so now this piece that was left, I'm actually gonna make sure it fits, but I will slide that, open up my zipper case and slide that here in between, just in case the paint soaks through. I don't have paint going through to the back side of the zipper case. So just slide that in. Make sure it covers under design. And now this can be a little tricky. So if you are younger and you need help, you can ask maybe your parents. You're gonna peel this one off sideways. It doesn't stick as well as it does on a wood. So you just have to keep holding with your hands the little corners before they lift up. So take your time with this step and make sure you don't lose any black pieces that you're peeling off. Okay, push that down, make sure it's down. So next thing is when I paint, it's very, very important that you paint very thin coats. So this will be a good size brush. Make sure it's not too wet from washing it out. And I'll show you how to paint these. Make sure you don't get any paint on a zipper case where you don't want to get any paint on, because it's not gonna come off. And what I'm gonna do, I'll load up my brush with very light coat of paint. I'll load up some of the sides so I have like hardly any paint on my brush. And then all I'm gonna be doing is swirling, go little circles like this. So it does, I can next time load up my brush here. And that way I get very, very light coats of paint and I'll get the best results. If you have a lot of paint on your brush and you just dip it in and start going, the paint might sneak under the stencil and the edges will not be as sharp. And again, you can have fun. You can do different colors, or just do different words in different colors, or just paint it all one color. I'll let this dry, and once it's dry, I'll peel off the stencil, but I'll make sure I don't put my zipper case into the paint. Okay, now that it's dry and it doesn't leave paint on my hands, I can just remove this stencil and reveal my pretty zipper case. That is it. All the projects are finished, so I can now go print out a little photo and all my projects are done.